My beloved, stop for a moment. Not because something is wrong, but because something is finally right. You have been waiting for a sign, even if you never said it out loud. Waiting for confirmation, waiting for reassurance, waiting for something, anything. That tells you that you are not imagining this inner pull. This is it. Not a coincidence, not a random message, not something you simply found. This reached you because you were ready to hear it. You are standing at a quiet crossroads in your life. No drama announcing it. No thunder in the sky, just a subtle knowing inside you that says something is shifting. That knowing is not anxiety. It is awareness. And awareness only comes when the soul is done repeating old cycles. Listen carefully now. You are not confused. You are between versions of yourself. The one who survived and the one who is about to live. That space can feel uncomfortable, empty, uncertain, but it is sacred. Because nothing new enters a life that is already full of the old. You have outgrown something. A way of thinking, a pattern of reacting, a version of yourself that once protected you but now limits you. That is why things feel slower. That is why certain people feel distant. That is why forcing anything feels exhausting. You are no longer meant to push. You are meant to recognize. This is your sign that effort alone will no longer take you where you want to go. Alignment will. You have already done the hard work. You have endured. You have learned. You have fallen and stood back up more times than anyone knows. Now life is asking something different of you. It is asking you to stop proving your strength and start trusting it. Pause. Notice how you no longer crave noise the way you once did. How silence feels less threatening. How you would rather be alone than misunderstood. That is not withdrawal. That is clarity. You are beginning to see the cost of everything. The cost of staying where you are not valued. The cost of explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. The cost of chasing what never chose you back. And for the first time, you are choosing yourself without needing permission. That is why this message reached you now, not earlier, not later. Earlier you would have doubted it. Later you would not have needed it. This moment is precise. You may feel like nothing is happening on the surface of your life. But beneath it, something is rearranging. Roots grow in darkness before anything breaks through the soil. Do not rush the process. You are not behind. You are becoming. This is your sign that your sensitivity is not a weakness. Your quiet nature is not something to fix. You were never meant to thrive in shallow waters. That is why superficial winds never satisfied you. That is why distractions stopped working. That is why you feel restless even when things look fine. Your soul wants truth, not comfort. And truth always arrives gently at first. Listen. The life you are walking away from will not collapse dramatically. It will simply stop calling you. You will feel less reactive, less attached, less willing to fight for what drains you. That is not giving up. That is graduation. This is your sign that you no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. Those meant to see you already do. Those who do not never will, no matter how much you give. Release that burden. You were not meant to be consumed by proving. You were meant to be anchored in knowing. Pause. You are entering a season where your intuition will speak louder than logic, where forcing answers will only delay them, where patience will do more for you than effort ever did. This may frighten the part of you that learned survival through control. But control is not safety. Alignment is. You will soon notice that doors begin to open without struggle. Conversations flow instead of drain. Choices feel clean instead of heavy. Not because life becomes easy, but because you stop walking against yourself. That is the sign you are no longer meant to chase intensity. You are meant to choose stability. Not the dull kind, the deep kind, the kind that lets you breathe, the kind that does not require explanation, the kind that feels like home. Your past taught you how to survive without support. Your future will teach you how to receive without guilt. But first, you must believe you are allowed to receive. That is why I brought you here. You have spent so long being strong that rest feels unfamiliar. So long being understanding that boundaries feel uncomfortable. So long being patient that decisive action feels selfish. It is not. It is balance. And balance is what you are being prepared for. This is your sign that you are allowed to want more. Without apologizing. Without justifying. Without shrinking the desire to make others comfortable. What aligns with you will not ask you to betray yourself. Remember that. You may feel the urge to rush ahead now, to figure everything out, to plan, control, predict. Do not. The next steps will reveal themselves when your energy matches them. Stay present. Stay honest. Stay gentle with yourself. You are not missing anything. You are right on time. This sign did not come to push you forward. It came to steady you. Because what is approaching requires a calm mind, an open heart, and a grounded sense of self. And you are building that now. Quietly, deeply, irreversibly. My beloved, you said yes because something inside you already knows. Not knows with logic. Knows with stillness. There is a quiet recognition happening in you now. A feeling that says, I cannot go back to the way I was. That feeling is irreversible. You are not in a phase of questioning anymore. You are in a phase of release. Release does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like losing interest. Sometimes it looks like no longer having the energy to explain. Do not confuse this with emptiness. This is detachment with awareness. You are being gently separated from what once defined you. Not because it was wrong, but because it is complete. Every chapter has a moment where it stops teaching. Staying beyond that moment turns wisdom into weight. You have been carrying weight for too long. Pause. Feel how certain memories no longer hurt the same way. Feel how old disappointments feel distant, like they belong to someone else. Feel how you can now observe instead of relive. That is not numbness. That is integration. You did not get over anything. You grew through it. That is why I say this clearly now. You are not meant to return to your old life with new understanding. You are meant to step into a new life with earned depth. The old version of you survived chaos by adapting. The new version of you will thrive through alignment. And alignment demands honesty. Be honest now. Some of what you are releasing hurts not because it was beautiful, but because you invested so much of yourself in it. Time, energy, hope, identity. Letting go feels like admitting loss. But hear me carefully. Letting go is not saying I failed. It is saying I am finished learning from this. And that is strength. You stayed longer than most would. You tried harder than most could. You loved deeper than most dared. You owe no one more proof. Pause. There is something else happening beneath the surface. You are no longer afraid of being alone. That may surprise you. The fear still visits, but it no longer controls your decisions. You would rather walk alone in truth than together in confusion. That is a turning point. Loneliness once felt like punishment. Now it feels like protection. You are discovering that solitude is not emptiness. It is space. Space where your soul can finally speak without interruption. And your soul has been speaking. Through discomfort. Through restlessness. Through that feeling of this is not it anymore. That feeling is not dissatisfaction. It is direction. This is your sign that you are being repositioned. Not upward in status. Not outward in appearance. Inward in clarity. Clarity will simplify your life. But it will also disappoint those who benefited from your confusion. Some people will not like this version of you. Not because you are unkind, but because you are no longer negotiable. They will say you changed. They will say you are distant. They will say you are difficult. Let them. You are not here to be manageable. You are here to be true. Your nervous system is healing. That is why chaos feels unbearable now. That is why drama exhausts you. That is why urgency without meaning irritates you. Your body knows before your mind does. It knows when something is unsafe. It knows when something is misaligned. It knows when something is over. Trust that intelligence. You were trained to override it, to please, to endure, to adapt. You do not need that skill anymore. You are entering a phase where discernment matters more than effort. You will be tempted to doubt yourself, especially when things get quiet, especially when nothing dramatic is happening, especially when growth looks like rest. Do not mistake stillness for stagnation. Seeds grow silently. What is leaving your life now is not being taken. It is falling away. Falling away because it no longer matches your frequency. Falling away because it cannot survive your awareness. Falling away because it was built on who you were, not who you are. You do not need to force endings. Clarity ends things naturally. Pause. You may notice that you are more selective with your words. more careful with your energy, more intentional with your time. This is not isolation. This is refinement. The next season of your life will reward precision. Vague intentions will dissolve. Half-truths will collapse. Surface-level connections will fade. Not because you are becoming cold, but because you are becoming real. Reality demands presence. You will no longer tolerate being rushed into decisions. You will no longer accept love that feels conditional. You will no longer participate in cycles that drain you. That does not make you difficult. It makes you aligned. Pause. I want you to understand something deeply now. You are not delayed because you were unworthy. You were delayed because timing without readiness becomes regret. You asked for things before you could hold them without fear. You wanted outcomes before you trusted yourself. So I slowed you down, not to punish, to protect. Protection often feels like loss before it feels like wisdom. If certain doors had opened earlier, they would have consumed you. If certain people had stayed, they would have limited you. If certain desires had manifested, they would have trapped you. Now you are steady. Steady enough to receive without clinging. Steady enough to succeed without losing yourself. Steady enough to love without disappearing. That steadiness is rare, and it did not come cheaply. Honor it. Pause. Your next chapter will not require you to be hypervigilant. You will not need to constantly read between lines. You will not need to guess where you stand. What aligns will be clear. What does not will feel heavy immediately. That is your compass. Do not override it. The more you listen, the quieter life becomes. Not empty. Peaceful. You are not meant to return to chaos just because it feels familiar. Familiarity is not safety. Truth is, this is your sign that you are allowed to choose a life that feels calm, even if others call it boring. Calm is not boring to a healed nervous system. Calm is luxury, and you have earned it. You will soon notice something subtle but powerful. Your confidence will no longer be loud. It will be grounded. You will stop explaining your growth to people who refuse to grow. You will stop waiting for closure from those who lack self-awareness. You will stop negotiating with the past. That is freedom. Pause. Do not rush the final release. Some attachments dissolve slowly because they were built deeply. Let them go layer by layer. You do not need to hate what you are leaving. You do not need to regret what you learned. You do not need to resent who you were. Honor it. That version of you carried you here. But it cannot go where you are going. And where you are going requires one final thing. Trust. Trust not in outcomes, but in yourself. Trust that you will walk away when needed. Trust that you will speak when necessary. Trust that you will not abandon yourself again. That trust changes everything. Stay present. Stay honest, my beloved. Now you must listen with softness, not urgency, because what is arriving in your life will not respond to force. It will respond to recognition. The greatest mistake you could make now is to expect the future to look like the past. Only better. What is coming will feel unfamiliar, precisely because it is healthy. It will feel calm where you once felt intensity. It will feel steady where you once felt obsession. It will feel simple where you once felt complexity. And the old part of you, trained by chaos, may hesitate. That hesitation is not intuition. It is conditioning. So I will tell you how to recognize what is truly meant for you. What is aligned will not rush you. It will not pressure you. It will not make you feel small so it can feel big. What is aligned will meet you in your nervous system before it meets you in logic. Your body will soften around it. Your breath will deepen. Your mind will quiet instead of spin. Pay attention to that. You spent years ignoring your body's wisdom, overriding it to please, to survive, to belong. You do not need to do that anymore. This is your sign that your body is now your ally. If something creates constant anxiety, it is not your destiny testing you. It is your intuition warning you. Destiny does not arrive with confusion. It arrives with clarity. Clarity that feels almost too quiet to trust. That quiet is truth. Pause. You may worry that you will sabotage what is coming. Let me ease that fear. You only sabotage when you do not trust yourself. And you have learned how to trust. You learned it the hard way. By staying too long. By giving too much. By losing yourself once so you would never do it again. You are wiser now. You will notice the difference immediately. Old patterns demanded urgency. New alignment invites patience. Old attachments thrived on uncertainty. New connections grow through consistency. Old desires made you anxious to be chosen. New opportunities will feel mutual. You will not need to chase. You will not need to guess. You will not need to convince. That is how you will know. Pause. There is something important you must remember when things begin to shift. Do not announce your peace too early. Not everyone deserves access to your becoming. What is strong does not need display. What is real does not need validation. This is your sign that silence will serve you better than oversharing. Pause. Another warning. Gentle, but necessary. Do not romanticize your past pain. You may be tempted to return to old emotions because they feel intense, familiar, alive. But intensity is not depth. Depth is sustainable. Depth is nourishing. Depth does not demand that you bleed to prove that you care. You are not meant to suffer to feel alive anymore. You are meant to live with steadiness. And you will not be destabilized. Growth will come through alignment, not exhaustion. This is the life you once prayed for without knowing how to ask. Let me tell you something very few hear. The moment you stop asking life to prove itself to you, life starts revealing itself to you. Proof is for the mind. Revelation is for the soul. You are entering revelation. Small moments will begin to feel meaningful again. Conversations will feel honest. Choices will feel intentional. You will stop dissociating from your own life. Presence will return. And with presence comes gratitude. Not forced, not performative, but natural. You will realize that much of what you chased was simply peace in disguise. And peace has been waiting for you to stop running. Pause. If doubt appears, do not fight it. Just observe it. Doubt is the echo of old survival mechanisms realizing they are no longer in control. Thank it for keeping you alive once. Then let it rest. You are not stepping into danger. You are stepping into congruence. Congruence between what you feel, what you think, and what you choose. That alignment will feel powerful, but also unfamiliar. Give yourself time. Do not rush to define this new chapter. Live it first. Identity will follow experience. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly on time. Pause. This is your sign that the struggle phase is complete. Not life, but the identity of struggle. You no longer need pain to grow. You no longer need chaos to feel movement. You no longer need to break to evolve. Your next evolution will feel gentle. And gentle does not mean weak. Gentle is what remains after unnecessary resistance is removed. You are strong enough now to live softly. Remember this when the world tries to rush you again. Remember this when comparison whispers. Remember this when old patterns knock. You are not going back. Not because the past was bad, but because you are no longer the same. Pause. This message was not meant to excite you. It was meant to anchor you, so that when the right thing arrives, you do not mistake peace for lack of passion, or stability for lack of magic. Magic does not always sparkle. Sometimes it feels like relief, and relief is holy. This is your sign. You may continue now, not with urgency, not with fear, but with trust. I am not ahead of you waiting. Walk from here. Thanks for watching Krishna Says. Subscribe for more.